Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Tom Corr, and I'm President and CEO of the Ontario Centres of Excellence, and I will be your Master of Ceremonies for the next 2 days. It is my great pleasure to welcome you to Discovery, Canada's premier innovation showcase. We are honoured that we are joined again this year by Canada's Governor-General, His Excellency the Right Honourable David Johnston, and especially pleased to have him here as Canada celebrates its 150th anniversary. His Excellency will be more formally introduced to you by our Board Chair, Michael Nobrega. We are delighted as well to be joined this year by Premier Kathleen Wynne, who has been such a great supporter of Discovery and in building innovation-driven economy. With this, her fourth visit to Discovery, the Premier is well acquainted with the work and aspirations of Ontario's entrepreneurs and companies. Premier Wynne will be speaking to you later this afternoon. I want to welcome our partners from the Ontario Network of Entrepreneurs, including our colleagues from the Regional Innovation Centres and the Small Business Enterprise Centres, as well as the universities, colleges, and research hospitals. We are pleased as well to have so many representatives of industry with us today at Discovery. This year, we celebrate 12 years of Discovery, and 12 years of bringing people together to celebrate innovation in Ontario. And I can assure you that we've been working hard at OCE to deliver our best show yet. This includes a show floor of head-turning what's next technologies and an exceptionally strong group of keynotes and featured speakers addressing some of today's most complex and pressing global issues needing urgent solutions. Whether you're looking for investors, new partners, new customers, or expert advice or mentoring, you've come to the right place. Thank you for being part of what promises to once again be an exciting and memorable experience. Please sign on to your social media accounts and let your followers know what's going on at Discovery by using the hashtag OCEDiscovery. Enjoy the next 2 days. I would now like to ask our Board Chair, Michael Nobrega, to come forward and say a few words and to introduce His Excellency.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's my great pleasure to join Tom and welcome the over 3,500 of you to this year's Discovery. Why don't you give yourself a big hand of applause? I look forward every year to exploring the size and the breadth of the exhibition floor, to see what's next in innovation, and experience the creativity, excitement, and high energy of Ontario's innovation community. It is now my pleasure to introduce His Excellency, the Right Honourable David Johnston. His Excellency has dedicated his life to public service, focusing on strengthening learning and innovation. A champion of entrepreneurship and collaboration throughout his leadership at McGill, the University of Waterloo, and the many innovation commissions which he has chaired. He has been and continues to be intensely focused on fostering pride amongst Canadians of our country's remarkable track record of invention. His recent book, Ingenious, co-authored with Tom Jenkins, is a beautifully illustrated story of brilliant Canadian innovations whose widespread adoption has made the world a better place. Sworn in on October 1, 2010, he is the 28th Governor-General since Confederation. It is truly exciting to have Canada's Governor-General with us at this year's Discovery. So, ladies and gentlemen, please join me. I would like you to join me in welcoming His Excellency, the Right Honourable David Johnston, Governor-General of Canada, to the podium. Your Excellency.
Well, Premier Wynne, Michael, Tom, David, distinguished guests, Mesdames et Messieurs, what a pleasure to be here at the opening of Discovery 2017. Innovation has been top of mind lately. Last month, for example, as Michael indicated, marked the release of Ingenious, a book I had the pleasure of writing with my great friend Tom Jenkins. Tom, just raise your hand so we know where you are. And Tom will be a panelist this afternoon, so you have a treat in store for you. We have the children's edition of the book coming out in September. Tom, I hope you'll tell these great folks here about the many different platforms in and around the book, the Innovation Awards, the lesson plans, and on and on and on. Ingenieux raconte l'histoire parfois surprenante de l'innovation au Canada, avec près de 300 récits de notre ingéniosité. This book tells the sometimes surprising story of Canadian innovation through the groundbreaking innovations that Canadians played a key role in. And when Tom or I asked her, what was the thing that amazed you most in writing this book, it was, I think, the surprising number. We started out with a plan of 50 stories of Canadian innovators, and then it got up to 150, which was pretty good for Canada's 150th birthday. And then it got up to 297, and the publisher said, that's it, the book won't hold anymore unless you go to a different size. So we stopped there, but we started a website called innovationculture.ca, where all of the ones we missed can be registered, and the other side of the story can be told about the ones in the book. They range from canoe to the BlackBerry, from hockey to insulin, from the Canadarm that reaches out in the vastness of space to the, pause here, whoopee cushion, which does something drastically different. If you have children or grandchildren, they will know all about that because they put it under your chair from time to time. As you can see, we've certainly made a wide range of discoveries and innovations, and though I knew how ingenious Canadians were and continue to be, I didn't realize how difficult it would be for Tom and myself and the great team of people working on this to decide what to include in our book. There are so many other entries we could have incorporated, and that list is growing every day. And just look around here to see the proof of that. Discovery 2017 is not only a place to learn, but it's also a showcase for new and exciting technologies and ideas. Exploring the floor here will open up your minds to new possibilities and perhaps may even spark a eureka moment of your own. Open up your mind. I love that expression. I say minds like parachutes work best when open. And eureka was a Greek explanation or a Greek explanation for I've discovered or I've got it. And my favorite of the innovation stories that Tom and I tell in the book is the light bulb, because you know the notion of the light goes on. I've developed a better way of doing things. But it's a classic Canadian story because the light bulb, the notion of driving an electrical current through a resistant piece of wire which caused it to glow and therefore a light, was a Canadian invention, patented in Canada, patented in the United States, but we didn't have either the financial capital or the infrastructure and intellectual capital to do the enterprise to market it. But Thomas Edison at that time was quite an inventor of his own, was smart enough to hire a lot of inventors, was even smart enough to buy inventions, and he, through General Electric, developed the light bulb in the United States. Le simple fait de parcourir le Salon des exposants de discovery 2017 ouvre l'esprit à de nouvelles possibilités. C'est un événement qui encourage l'innovation. We so often see how encouraging collaboration, exchanging with others, and encountering new ideas can spark great innovation. The Ontario Centres of Excellence under Tom's terrific leadership helps promote innovation growth by bridging the gap between businesses, governments, universities, and research institutions. They know that working together, pooling our talents, is the path to success. And that's a very Canadian enterprise, working together, pooling our talents. We can look back on our history to see how accurate that is. First of all, this country is a social innovation, an experiment, working with inclusivity, with diversity over great distances to build a social experiment that works well. Take Alexander Graham Bell. He immigrated to Canada in his 20s. He's often credited with the invention of the telephone, but in reality, he was well aware of his limitations in electrical engineering, for one. He, in fact, was an audiologist. He worked with people who had hearing difficulties and speech difficulties to overcome them. But he gathered around him a team of knowledgeable experts in Nova Scotia to help him bring his idea to life. Walter Penfield, the great director of the Montreal Neurological Institute, who first mapped the brain physically, 1920s and 1930s, when he wrote his autobiography, it was entitled No Man Alone, or today we would say New Person Alone. As brilliant as a neurosurgeon was Penfield, he recognized his utter dependency on people around him, and because of a team of different disciplinary experts and bright young people, he was able to do great things in brain mapping and neuroscience in Montreal and for Canada. Today, the idea of hubs, and it's a hub that these people created, continues to influence how we think. Canadians understand that a changing market requires a change in our thinking. Innovation hubs represent a partnership model where academia, government, businesses, and organizations such as the OCE work together to address challenges and invest in new research and development. Clusters like these are a great opportunity to do things differently, to create jobs and prospects that will help the next generation get the skills they need to succeed in the future. One of the enterprises in which I was involved and is really beginning to flourish is the Toronto-Waterloo Region Corridor, to confirm just how successful hubs can be. That corridor stretches 112 kilometers, a little over 100 kilometers, and it's the second largest technology cluster in North America. Second largest in North America. Just consider what it offers. 15,000 tech companies, including Google, Amazon, Shopify, IBM, BlackBerry. OpenText should be there, Tom. And more than 5,000 tech startups. Some 200,000 tech workers and a combined population of 6 million people. 16 world-class universities and colleges, and one of the most diverse regions in the world with about 150 languages spoken. And think about that as a natural advantage. The number of different languages spoken here, the openness to immigration, the diversity that is represented in that, with not only new waves of energy coming, but new waves of thought where people are not expected to suppress their cultural heritages here, but to add them to this rich and wonderful mix that is Canada. From diversity, from the different angles, come important innovations and great ideas. There's still a long ways to go. I often summarize that with the expression, to know one is to know none. And once you develop the sense of knowing more than one, it becomes a very expanded approach and a taking in of the diversity that makes this country special. There's still a long way to go, but we're making great progress, I think, on expanding our innovation culture, and it is a culture. This conference is another hub of information, albeit a temporary one. But what it allows you to do is to network with new organizations, some of which you may have never encountered otherwise, and learn something that can lead to even greater discoveries. In addition, you're opening the doors to our discoveries both to Canada and to the world. And as a result, investors and innovators alike from all over the world are given a chance to see Canadian ingenuity. And as we've seen, the successes we achieve with our ideas expand significantly when we work together across borders and even across disciplines. I actually refer to that as the diplomacy of knowledge, and I give speeches on that, and it's a very simple concept, the concept of knowledge, but it's well developed when one crosses interdisciplinary boundaries, two crosses national sovereignty or geographical boundaries, and three crosses cultural boundaries. It's quite amazing to see that kind of transformation that takes place. And I love to refer to Thomas Jefferson's candle of knowledge when I refer to that diplomacy of knowledge. Jefferson referred to the candle as representing light and representing knowledge. And he once said, when you light your unlit candle from my candle, my light is not diminished, it's enhanced. It actually grows from sharing, of bringing other partners to the piece and adding to it. Innovation is about sharing ideas, refining and testing them. In fact, I often refer to the fact when I talk about experiential learning, of which I'm such a fan, where theory and practice go hand in hand, theory and reality, that the most practical thing in the world is a good general theory, provided that you're constantly applying it to reality and adjusting it accordingly. Remember, all models are wrong, some are useful. Why is this story of asking questions important? Why is something like this instead of that? What if we were to add X to Y? Or to put it in the words of George Bernard Shaw, I think my favorite words from Shaw are this little couplet. He said, "Some people see things as they are and wonder why. We dream of things that ought to be and ask why not." It's a lovely couplet because in that first sentence, some people see things as they wonder why. That's curiosity about the world around us. That's a good thing. But then you get that second phrase, we dream, an aspiration for the future of things that ought to be, a moral imperative of using our innovations for the common good, and ask why not, which of course is a call to action. In Canada, we've asked why not for centuries, constantly pushing ourselves to go further, to do more, to do better. Ideas, after all, can very quickly multiply. Consider that we now generate and store online 2.5 exabytes of computer data every day. That means every 2 days, we're uploading more data than has been printed in all of human history. That also means there is a near infinite number of ideas to combine, change, refine, test, and improve to benefit some social need. And I know we're up to the challenge. J'ai vu à quel point nous pouvons être créatifs et ingénieux, mais aussi déterminés dans notre quête de l'excellence. Cette recherche de l'excellence est le moteur au centre de nos actions. As Governor General, I've made it a priority to encourage excellence in Canadian innovation. In fact, in my installation address, which was entitled A Smart and Caring Nation, a call to service, we had 3 pillars: family and children, learning and innovation, philanthropy and volunteerism. And to particularly advance innovation, we'll do that especially when we present the Governor General's Innovation Awards next week, the second annual of these exercises. And in on that occasion, we'll honor some of Canada's best and most innovative people with these awards. I recently spoke with the recipients of these awards, and I was so impressed with their remarkable ingenuity and the way they're putting that ingenuity to use in addressing important issues. Gerhard Hertzberg, Canadian scientist and recipient of the Nobel Prize in Chemistry, once said to the students at the University of Manitoba, "Your aim should be to make Canada a country that is recognized throughout the world and throughout history as a country that has advanced in a significant way the progress of science, art, and literature. No mean ambition, but appropriate for Canada." Like Gerhard Hertzberg, the OCE wants Canadians to innovate and be recognized for their ingenuity. They want our excellence to shine. Worldwide, Canadians are being recognized for their work in growing numbers. I've seen how talented we are, and I've traveled to more than 25 different countries where we've found Canadians partnering with local communities to improve lives and create greater opportunities. Notre nation innovatrice compte sur des personnes comme vous tous, en tant que créateurs et grands penseurs du Canada. To reach new heights and to build a sustainable innovation ecosystem that will bring us to the forefront of discovery, we need people like you, creators and big thinkers of Canada. I look forward to learning about your work here that will benefit Ontario, Canada, and the world. Merci.
Well, thank you, Governor General. And this is the book that the Governor General was referring to, and we'll have more to say about this a little later on in the afternoon, and where you can get it right here at Discovery. So, thank you for your remarks, and thank you for reminding us how great Canada is and how much we have to be proud of. I would like to now introduce you to Iman Jaffari, founder of Food Post Inc., and in grade 9, one of our first winners of our Young Entrepreneurs Make Your Pitch competition. Iman, please come forward.
Thank you. Your Excellency, let me just say that we are all inspired by your leadership as a champion of innovation and young entrepreneurs. Earlier today, you had the opportunity to meet some of the 20 finalists for the Young Entrepreneurs Make Your Pitch high school program as part of your tour of the Discovery show floor. Now, I was one of those finalists and an eventual winner 4 short years ago when I was in grade 9. It was a life-changing event, and it encouraged me to build my own company, foodpost.ca, while at the same time continuing my education and studies on the side. I know that your dedication towards this important cause played a key role in forming and shaping that unique experience for me when I was an entrepreneur. I also happen to know that that commitment has surpassed myself and this room and has reached places as far as our provinces and our cities across our country from coast to coast. It has reached young individuals and young Canadian entrepreneurs who are embarking on their first steps of starting their own businesses in the most humble of places imaginable. Their parents' garages, basements, college dormitories, and at their universities' business and commerce incubators. This, in fact, does remind me of an ancient Greek proverb which states that great societies are formed only when their leaders plant the seeds of trees whose shade will be used by future generations to come. And you, sir, have done exactly that with your tenacious commitment in bringing about economic empowerment to our communities. So with that said, on behalf of all the innovators, all those who dare to dream, the innovators, young entrepreneurs like myself and everyone in attendance today, we thank you, sir, for all you have done, and that your presence at Discovery today is a visible example and a testament to your continuous passion and support for Canada's young innovators and the innovation which they produce. Thank you.